Well, I come from a time of extremely non-linear editing. So, and in fact I did work as an editor at one point. That was my job, editing tape-to-tape editing. So I had a lot of experience of that, and I've had a lot of experience after that using various different non-linear edit suites. The first one I came across was called Lightworks, which nobody even knows about anymore. It's dead and forgotten. And the very early Premiere, and then what I started using was Final Cut Pro. And I've got used to using Final Cut Pro, and that's the one that I favour because I know it best. Premiere Pro is now kind of like dominating the field in that kind of strata of the market because of its price, and because you can put it on your Mac and everything. You don't need particularly kind of specialised hardware. So in a way, Final Cut made a strange kind of decision and went backwards slightly with their interface. And at a certain point, after Final Cut 7, I think it is, after that it suddenly goes a bit like some kind of amateur kind of production thing. So nobody uses that. So they kind of lost a big chunk of the market, and Premiere Pro took over. So nowadays, the two things, and I'm talking about now in this particular, right now as we speak, most people are using either Premiere Pro or Avid. Well, the thing about Premiere is that you can afford to have it on your actual laptop, Mac, whatever. That's great, or PC as well. So that's great. So that's a very useful thing for somebody starting off filmmaking to be able to use. Avid's more kind of difficult to use in my opinion because it comes from an older time. So it actually harks back to some quite old kind of technology and quite old kind of workflows. And the thing about it is that lots of very professional editing houses will use Avid. So if you can use that, that's good for getting jobs in the edit world. But I'll tell you now, that will change because something else will be the thing that people are using. So that's actually in a way something slightly from the past, and it's still used, it's still really current, but I'm sure that things will change. So what you've got to do, actually, with all of this technology, is that you've always got to learn the new stuff, whatever it happens to be. So it's not like in the old days where you learn your trade and that was it. What you have to do is you have to learn, so that you're constantly changing. There's absolutely no replacement for getting good sound on the shoot, without doubt. Now the weird thing is, you can get your pictures looking perfect and beautiful. If your sound is a bit off, even slightly off, people won't always know why, but they will be irritated by your film. They won't know why they're irritated, and they will think it's to do with the pictures. But it's not to do with the pictures, it's actually the sound. But the sound is kind of somehow more subliminal and subtle. So in fact they can't hear the S's or the T's or something or other in the recording, but it makes them feel that there's something wrong with the picture. So if you get the sound right, the pictures look better, which is really weird. And the other thing is, as you've already identified, the other thing is that ADR is actually really quite a faff. You've got to get all the people back, you've got to get them all doing their noises absolutely in sync. And to be frank, it will always look slightly weird because the sound perspective will be slightly odd. And I would say that students, in my experience, most often neglect the sound to their peril, frankly. And if you get the sound right, everything's going to be much easier. But I just wish that people would spend more time thinking about the sound, because I think people are distracted by the kind of the glamour, as it were, of the camera and directing. You get the sound right, everything's going to go loads easier for you. So get the right level, get the mic in the right position, get the mic on axis, monitor it properly, make sure there are no extraneous sounds. You know, that's what you've got to do. It's not that many things to get right, but you've got to get them right. Okay, if we just talk about masking and keying and things for a moment. One thing about anything where you're going to apply like a luma key mask, or we know that kind of thing where you're going to have like a green screen, that kind of thing. Now, there are some lighting tricks that people seem to have forgotten, right? And the fantastic thing is a gel called Bastard Amber, right? This is a particular gel. So if you're using green screen or blue screen, and you've got somebody like me sitting in front with this kind of hair, right? when you try and do the luma key, you're always going to get problems around here. Because what happens is some of the background colour kind of gets caught in the hair, right? So you always get a kind of ugly key. But if you use Bastard Amber as a backlight, so it's actually coming through the hair here. So it's out of shot, it's coming down like this. When you do the key, your softener will realise that it's not part of the background. And it'll be a hell of a lot easier for you. So that's the thing that I can say about masking and keying, basically.